the questions I get asked all the time is, how do I get into the scary world of futures trading versus, say, equity trading? Let me talk a little bit about that word scary, and the perception, I guess, of futures is one that is generally completely wrong. Futures are probably the best vehicle for traders for tax reasons, and you can talk to your CPA about that if you need more information. I am not a CPA, but there are tax advantages. Basically, with the futures, you get a 1099 from your broker at the end of the year, and you're going to pay less taxes than if you had to turn in your stack of equity and options trades, and then pay your nominal tax rate that you would have to for equities. So I've traded equities, I've traded options. I did that for multiple hedge funds for about 15 years, and then I also began to trade futures on my own to separate myself from the equity side of the business in the early 2000s. And it's really been the best move that, for me personally, that I could have made. And quite frankly, if I would have started trading futures, I would have never even dabbled into the equities market due to the efficacy, the simplicity, the number of vehicles that there are available. Again, you have interest rate products, you have treasuries, you have bonds that trade in futures markets and really drive the rest of the interest products. You have financial indices from the U.S. markets, the Russell, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ all trade futures. These vehicles are probably, if you start with just these in the futures markets, are probably the most liquid that you can find in any publicly traded marketplaces in the world. Now, some would argue that Forex is more active, but there's only a couple, really, if you're trading the euro or the yen, which, by the way, there are futures for those products also in the futures exchanges. But the products in the futures marketplaces are probably the most liquid, the most transparent, and give you the best opportunity to move in and out of the market, whereas equities are only open from 9:30 Eastern until 1:15 in the regular market hours. Futures pretty much trade 24/7, at least in the financials. So they're closed for maybe 15 minutes a day. The grains have their own marketplaces. The crude products have their own time frames, but most of them still trade 24/7, so allowing greater liquidity, greater transparency when things happen. While U.S. equity markets are sleeping, you can move in and out of positions much quicker. So that is the reason why I think futures over equities is for tax reasons, and transparency and liquidity, the size of the markets, are the reasons why you should consider looking at them. Now, you can use market profile trading tools that we teach here at the Market Profile Trading Academy to function in both markets, whether it's equities, whether it's options. But it's the liquidity and the transparency that ultimately are going to drive you towards and the tax benefits still that are out there today. They may change, but today there is still an advantage to trading futures markets. And that's why pros trade futures markets, purely because the profits they keep stay more in their pockets versus getting paid out. So that is it. How do you make that transition? It's really up to you. The liquidity, the transparency, and the tax benefits should drive you to the futures markets if they haven't already. Again, you can learn just to trade, say, the S&P futures, and that's what I would recommend people get into first. It doesn't matter whether you're trading, people trade the SPY or ETFs all the time. If you're already trading ETFs, especially when it comes to the financials, you may as well move towards the futures, because you're going to save yourself a bundle of money on the tax side of the equation. It is much more liquid, and your costs to operate in those markets, the trading costs and the liquidity and the margins, are going to save you a bundle of money on top of that. So hope you enjoyed this discussion on futures, and we'd love to see you here at the Market Profile Trading Academy. Take one of our 3-day courses, and we're also going to start offering some 1-day courses for $899. Check our website, marketprofiletradingacademy.com, and we look forward to seeing you here for the 1 or 3-day courses. All right, take care, peace, and have a great end of your summer.